What's up, ladies? Welcome back to part 2 of the XL125 build series. As you saw in the last video, we rebuilt the carburetor. Nothing special there, got the bike running, super exciting. Today, we're gonna focus on some maintenance items. We're gonna check the valves, we are gonna adjust our timing chain, may do some fork seals, some other little maintenance items. But before we do all that, let's get this thing outside and give it a good wash. Finally got this thing washed up, got all the dirt, grime, spider webs, all this other stuff off of it. We're going to start pulling the clutch cover because I have my suspicions, as you saw in the last video, with the clutch being bad. We're also going to drain our oil, so we'll start with popping our drain plug, draining my oil in there, pulling this clutch cover, and inspecting our plates. I'll show you guys how it's all done. Let's grab ourselves a drain pan. There we go. I'm going to jump on the other side of the bike here and crack our drain plug loose. Looks like a 17 millimeter, pretty standard for a Honda. There we go. Time to get the big boy out of this. Oh yeah, check that chocolate milk out. Nesquik. All right. Yeah, that's what I expected based on what I saw last time. Not looking good. Check that out. Really glad we're changing the oil, which is a given in this case. But yeah, not looking good. Clutch washer's all smashed over. So that's junk. We got ourselves an oil screen right here behind this, I believe 24 millimeter cover. So we're gonna go ahead and crack that guy loose while the oil's draining. Get what's ever in there. Let's see here, little tap. There we go. Grab our socket. We'll just back this guy out. All right. Let's see what we got going on here. We got our, oh yeah. Look at that garbage in there. Not looking too good. I'm lucky this thing's a Honda. Got our spring, set that down. We got our screen. Let's see if I can get this thing out here. Oh yeah. Really glad we pulled that out. Look at all the contaminants in there. So we'll get this all cleaned up and reinstalled once some of this oil gets drained out. All right, I think we're ready to crack this clutch cover open. Got the other side all buttoned up, cleaned up. So I'll grab my impact here. We're gonna buzz off our Kickstarter. Take this bolt all the way out. Slide this guy off, sometimes they stick. Oh, there we go. Kickstarter is on. All right, let's see. I do need to take this clutch cable off, but it's already so loose, I might be able to do it by hand. There we go. Cable is off and out of our way. So some have a different opinion on this, but for most of these, I use an impact with a bit. And let's see if I have the right size here. Yeah, we do. Let me get a screwdriver. I'm gonna have to pull this tachometer cable off, which doesn't work anyway. Tachometer is busted, so we're gonna use this. And there we go. Pull that off. Slide our tack cable out. That's out of the way. Something like that. And then I use one of these because you want impact to be able to pop these out. Put a lot of pressure on it. Just buzz them out like that, and I'll just lay them here on this towel. There we go. I think we're, I don't even know how many I pulled out. 11 for 11, 10 for 10, something like that. So we're gonna take a rubber mallet, tap our cover. Oh, never mind. Decided I just want to fall off. Push off this here. Just kind of shimmy it. I gotta get a brake lever out of the way. We'll do that in a second here. And there we go. Really, really glad I pulled this off. Look at all of this trash in here. This thing's definitely been sitting outside for some time. So let's go ahead and set this down. All right. Let's see here. Well, it looks like we can't pull our clutch out without removing what I'm guessing is some sort of oil spinner off the motor. So let me get something. I'm gonna pop these guys off. All right, I brought you in for a closer view. Got our snap ring pliers. Pop this snap ring out of the way if we can without it going flying. Oh, and it's in our oil pan. That's okay. So we're gonna pull this outer basket. Just kind of shimmy it out. Plates are kind of stuck to it, which is what I thought would happen, but that's okay. Oh yeah, holy cow. Get this guy out of here. Whew, there is so much trash in this motor. This is ridiculous, look at this. We got our friction plates. We got our steel plates. They're so stuck together. I can't even get them apart. Anyway, we can see some rust all along the inside. So this is a friction plate. What's stuck to the backside is our steel plate. You can see all that rust and just garbage that's collected in here, and these are junk. Luckily I have a new clutch kit we're gonna throw in this thing. New cover gasket. We're gonna try to clean up this the best we can. We'll probably end up flushing the motor a couple times, get some of this garbage out. I'll try to wipe out as much as possible, but yeah, for now, I mean, I can't even, these are just completely stuck together. So I expected the worst, and well, that's the worst. So I'll set these aside and pull these last couple plates out, clean some stuff up, and reassemble. I got a Tusk clutch kit. Ready to slap in this thing. I had the plates soaking. We cleaned all our parts up. Everything's in decent shape. Cleaned the clutch cover. Replaced these dowel pins here and here that were missing for who knows why. Cleaned our clutch cover up. So we're gonna pretty much just install the clutch and put everything back together. Clutch side is all buttoned up. We're jumping on the other side here to adjust the valves. I pulled our cover off here to access the crank, to be able to turn the motor over and find top dead center. We're gonna start with removing our gas tank and seat. Luckily none of it's bolted on. Just sitting here. Now that we removed our tank and seat, we are going to crack these two caps up top loose. Somebody's been in here. You can see how like damaged this is. We got a 24mm wrench. Hopefully these aren't stuck on here. Crack that guy loose. And this one. This is the best view I could get of our intake rocker arm. Right now we have some play. I've already cracked this loose. So we're gonna measure we're not gonna measure it anymore because I've loosened it, but we're gonna set these. I have some feeler gauges here. We're gonna set the intake at a 3mm, which is what it calls for, anywhere from 2 to 3. So we'll get our feeler gauge under our rocker between our valve stem, if we can. These are tough. Such a small clearance. Once we're on there, we'll twist the top of this rocker. So we have a slight drag on our feeler gauge, just like so. And what we'll do is we'll take 10 millimeter on a ratchet. They have special tools for these, but I'm not pulling them out for this. And we are just gonna tighten this guy up. Now this little top piece here may have rotated, but it still feels okay. So I'm gonna pull that back out. Feel for clearance. And yep, we have a little bit. We only need a little bit. We don't want to lock. We'll have a noisy engine and we don't want that. So there's our intake valve. And I'm gonna replicate the same process for the exhaust side. And we're back. Didn't get much else on camera, but we finished adjusting our valves. I replaced the O-ring on this cap and this cap on both the intake and exhaust. Decided to clean up the cover over here, replace some hardware in places that needed it. And then off camera as well, I adjusted the timing chain. Super simple. It is a 14 millimeter nut with the flat head on this little adjuster here. You'll crack the 14 millimeter loose. If you back that adjuster out, tensions the chain. If you run the tensioner in, it will actually loosen the chain. So it's kind of got that opposite effect. With that being said, let's move on to the front forks. Okay, we're getting ready to remove our front forks. I have the bike up in the air on a center stand and some ratchet straps on the rear to keep the rear from wanting to come up. What we're gonna have to do is remove our axle bolt and all our pinch bolts for our triple trees. And off camera, I loosened them and got our front end straight. As some of you saw in the last video, the front end was slightly tweaked. The triples were out of alignment. So we got those back to verify that everything's straight up front. So we'll go ahead with the process of removing the front forks. Oh, we have our right side fork leg and my Motion Pro fork vise. These were a pain to get out for whatever reason, but they're out now, and I've already cleaned up our fork leg to an extent to get some of the surface rust and other things off of it. Over here on the bench, I have our fork oil, some 10 weight Bel Ray, along with some aftermarket fork seals. It was a struggle finding these seals. I'm hoping they fit. We'll find out. Let's go over a couple tools. Always like to have a rag, set our parts on. A ratio right to measure fork oil capacity. We got a 1/2 inch impact with a 17 millimeter socket. Then we have our super long ratchet here with a 6 millimeter Allen socket on it. Some snap ring pliers, some electrical tape, grease, and our fork seal driver. So we'll go ahead and get this fork torn apart. Well, working on old motorcycles, sometimes things don't go to plan. I managed to totally snap my 6 millimeter Allen socket, taking a drain plug out, and of course in the process it decided to strip. I was able to hammer a hex socket on there, or a torque socket, and actually got it out. So we're replacing that hardware, but while you guys are there, we're gonna go ahead and drain whatever's in here, whatever fork oil remains. There's our plug, drain plug. Go ahead and tilt this guy, just like so. Pump our fork and see if any fluid comes out. Oh, well, there's your answer. Removed our fork tube. You can see how gross it is. There's no oil in here. It's almost like a greasy goo now. We're gonna set this guy down and grab a seal puller and pop this seal out. And we're gonna end up taking this whole fork leg once we remove our seal and bushings and putting it in our ultrasonic cleaner. All right, we have our fork leg in the vise. And we're gonna pop our top cap, which should reveal our spring and damping rod. Just like so. There's our cap, nothing special. Our spring should be in here with our dampening rods. We'll pull those guys up. There's our spring, small little guy. And our damping rod, we will drop out. Just like so. Not much of a damping rod, but we'll get all these in the cleaner and get everything cleaned up and reassemble. Okay, parts are out of the parts cleaner. There's our spring, our damping rod, our fork tube, our fork bottom or boot. All those are cleaned up okay. We cleaned up our snap ring as well. I was able to pull out our fork seal. What I thought was, it looks like a two-piece fork seal. It does have rubber on the inside and out, as you can see. So our replacement seal will take up the same diameter as these two. So those will go in the trash. We have new drain plug hardware with the brand new crush washer. Our cap with new O-ring. So we're gonna go ahead and throw all this together. So we will grab our fork tube first. We'll slide our damping rod all the way down. Just like so. There we go. Grab our spring. Spring through the top. And we'll take our fork, slide that right in there. All right, something along those lines for now. Now what we're gonna do is grab our seal. I'll set this down. Grab some grease. This is what I like to do. Take some grease and I will throw it around the outside of the seal. Just like so. And then I will throw grease on the inside of the seal. Some may argue that it's not a good idea, but I've done it and never had an issue. So we will throw some grease in there. Grab our fork tube. We will slide this over the top. Like that. Slide it down. Right there. Set this guy back down. Just like that. Then we will grab our snap ring, slide that guy over the top, pinch that, get that locked into place. Let's see. Just like that. Boom, and we're in. I'm not going to be putting the factory fork cap on it. I have a different idea, which you'll see in the next video. Give that a good snug. All right. Tilt this guy back up. Got our fork oil in here. Calls for right about 5.5 ounces. So we are going to go ahead and pour that into our fork. Okay. Grab our spring, slide that guy in there. Grab our top cap, shimmy this guy back up. Okay. And we will grab our 1/2 inch impact. Leave it like that until it's back in the bike. And that's pretty much fork seals for you. Hope you guys enjoyed part 2 of this build series. Stay tuned for part 3. We are going to be installing a bunch of brand new parts, throwing our front forks and front wheel back on this thing. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video.